What if I told you one of the most successful men in Hollywood walked into the Oscars looking like he was late for a basketball game and somehow became the most unforgettable person in the room? This is the story of Adam Sandler, the billionaire comedian who turned chaos into a career, accidentally became a fashion icon while dressing like a suburban dad, got fired from Saturday Night Live before conquering Hollywood, and somehow keeps creating the kind of moments that sound too ridiculous to be real. Because the truth is, Adam Sandler doesn't act like a celebrity. He acts like Adam Sandler. And that's exactly why people love him. But before we get into bathrobes, Oscar chaos, fake math teachers, and one of the wildest Shaquille O'Neal stories ever told, make sure to subscribe and stick around until the end, because this rabbit hole somehow gets even stranger the deeper you go. Hollywood has always treated the Oscars like America's version of a royal coronation. It isn't just an awards show, it's the single most glamorous night in entertainment, where the entire film industry gathers beneath one roof to celebrate success, status, and image. For weeks leading up to the ceremony, stylists obsess over every tiny detail. Designers compete for the honor of dressing the biggest stars in the world. Publicists rehearse interviews. Entire teams work behind the scenes, making sure every celebrity appears flawless for the cameras waiting outside. The red carpet itself feels less like a walkway and more like a battlefield built entirely around beauty and perception. Cameras flash nonstop like lightning storms. Reporters shout names from every direction. Every smile, every pose, every expensive thread stitched into a custom-made outfit gets analyzed by millions of people watching around the world. This is not just an event. It's a performance before the performance. The men arrive wearing perfectly tailored tuxedos worth more than most people's yearly salaries. The women glide across the carpet wrapped in gowns so elaborate they look like museum pieces instead of actual clothing. Every movement feels practiced. Every expression feels controlled. Every celebrity understands the silent pressure hanging over the room. Tonight, people are judging everything. Not just talent. Not just movies. Everything. Your appearance, your confidence, your posture, your image. At the Oscars, image is king. And then there's Adam Sandler. Because while the rest of Hollywood looked like they were preparing to meet actual royalty, Adam walked into the building looking like he had accidentally taken a wrong turn on his way to a pickup basketball game. No luxury tuxedo. No polished dress shoes. No sparkling designer watch. Just an oversized hoodie, basketball shorts, sneakers, and the relaxed energy of a man stopping at a gas station for snacks before heading home. Completely comfortable. Completely relaxed. Completely unconcerned by the fact that he was surrounded by some of the most glamorous people on earth. The contrast was unbelievable. You had Oscar-winning actors standing beside fashion icons, wrapped in velvet suits and diamond jewelry, and then Adam Sandler standing there looking like he might ask if anyone wanted to run full-court basketball after the ceremony ended. And somehow, the craziest part was this. He looked happier than everybody else in the room. While celebrities adjusted bodies and smiled carefully for photographers, Adam wandered around with the calm confidence of someone who genuinely did not care what anybody thought about him. No insecurity, no embarrassment, no desperate attempt to fit Hollywood's unwritten rules. He was just Adam Sandler. Naturally, the cameras became obsessed with him immediately. Social media exploded within minutes. Some people thought his outfit was hilarious. Others called it disrespectful. Some declared it legendary. Others insisted it was secretly genius. But in a room filled with people trying their hardest to appear perfect, Adam somehow looked more real than everyone else combined. Eventually, someone on stage finally said what the entire audience had been thinking since the moment he walked through the doors. "Adam, what are you wearing?" The crowd erupted into laughter instantly. Not cruel laughter, more like pure disbelief. Even the celebrities nearby leaned forward, curious to hear how Adam would possibly explain himself. And for a brief second, Adam looked genuinely confused by the question, like the idea that his outfit might be controversial had never crossed his mind. That's what made the moment unforgettable. Because while everybody else in the room saw someone absurdly underdressed for Hollywood's biggest night, Adam probably thought he looked completely normal. Nobody was even thinking about what I was wearing until you brought it up, he replied confidently. And somehow that made everything even funnier. Because Adam didn't sound embarrassed. He sounded disappointed. Like tea. He host had interrupted a perfectly peaceful evening by unnecessarily turning his clothes into a national crisis. Suddenly, the entire energy in the room flipped. What started as a joke aimed at Adam instantly became Adam hijacking the moment and making everyone else seem ridiculous for caring so much about fashion in the first place. The host immediately started apologizing. Adam, I'm sorry. But Adam wasn't about to let the chaos end there. In classic Sandler fashion, he decided to push the moment as far as humanly possible. He proudly looked around the glamorous theater filled with movie stars, producers, billionaires, and Hollywood executives, then casually invited all of them to a midnight basketball game like he was organizing a neighborhood pickup match. You are all welcome, he announced dramatically, to join me tonight for a 5-on-5 basketball game at Veteran Park. The audience completely lost it. Midnight tip-off, he added proudly. For a moment, it genuinely felt like Adam had forgotten where he was. Everyone else came prepared for emotional speeches and cinematic history. Adam showed up mentally prepared to run basketball drills after the ceremony. And somehow, the situation got even stranger. The guy from Nosferatu, Adam suddenly said while pointing toward another celebrity in the crowd. Yeah, he's on my team. The room exploded again. Half the audience laughed because the joke made absolutely no sense. The other half laughed because somehow it made perfect sense coming from Adam Sandler. That's always been his comedy style. He exists in this bizarre space where randomness itself becomes the punchline. And then, just when people thought the moment was finally ending, Adam casually shouted out Timothée Chalamet for absolutely no reason whatsoever before ending everything with one completely random final word. Shalom. Silence. Then total chaos. The theater exploded into laughter while celebrities sat there trying to process what had just happened. It felt less like an Oscar speech and more like surviving a comedy tornado. But honestly, that's the magic of Adam Sandler. He can walk into the most elegant, carefully controlled event in Hollywood dressed like someone headed to a backyard cookout, completely derail the atmosphere, confuse every person in the room, and somehow still leave as the most unforgettable part of the night. That's the thing about Adam Sandler. He doesn't just ignore Hollywood rules. He moves through life like he genuinely has no idea those rules exist. Most celebrities spend years carefully protecting their image. Every interview is managed. Every public appearance is calculated. Entire teams work behind the scenes making sure stars appear cool, polished, sophisticated, and mysterious. Adam built an entire career doing the exact opposite. He doesn't seem interested in looking important. While other celebrities carefully create an aura around themselves, Adam behaves like a regular guy who accidentally became famous and simply never adjusted to it. And honestly, dressing like somebody's uncle at a barbecue isn't even close to the weirdest thing he's ever done. At one point, Adam literally wandered through the streets of Los Angeles wearing nothing but a bathrobe while desperately trying to find Conan O'Brien. No embarrassment. No disguise. No plan. Just pure chaotic determination. Picture this for a second. One of the most famous comedians in America is walking through Los Angeles wrapped in a bathrobe like he escaped from a hotel spa, aggressively asking random strangers if they've seen Conan O'Brien. People stared at him like they were witnessing a mental breakdown happening in real time. Adam didn't care. Have you seen Conan? He kept asking everybody. And the funniest part was how seriously he treated the mission. He moved with the intensity of a detective chasing his final lead in a low-budget crime movie. Eventually, his search somehow led him into a barber shop. The second Adam walked through the door wearing a bathrobe, the entire room froze. Conversations stopped. Barbers paused mid-haircut. Everyone stared. It felt less like real life and more like a surreal comedy sketch nobody had prepared for. Still fully committed, Adam scanned the room and repeated the question once again. Have you seen Conan? For a second, silence filled the barber shop. Then one guy casually pointed across the room. He's right there. Adam turned dramatically, froze, then exploded with excitement. There he is, the Cone Man. The entire barber shop burst into laughter, while Conan sat there looking equally shocked that Adam Sandler had somehow tracked him down wearing a bathrobe like an unhinged private investigator. And somehow, stories like this only make Adam more lovable. Because chaos doesn't just happen around him. Chaos follows him. Even routine press interviews somehow spiral into madness when Adam is involved. During the promotional tour for Murder Mystery 2, Adam appeared alongside Jennifer Aniston for what should have been a completely normal interview. You know the routine. Same questions. Same rehearsed answers. Same polite celebrity smiles repeated hundreds of times during press tour. But then an Australian reporter showed up crouching awkwardly beneath the camera frame like he was hiding from enemy fire. Jennifer noticed immediately. "Why are you crouching like that?" she asked. The reporter awkwardly explained that he didn't want to block the camera because of his size. Jennifer looked horrified. "Oh my God, that's awful, that's not right." And then, without warning, the reporter suddenly jumped upward screaming at the top of his lungs. Jennifer practically launched herself out of her chair while Adam collapsed laughing beside her. "Don't ever do that again," she yelled through nervous laughter while trying to recover from the mini heart attack she had just experienced live on camera. Nobody in that room was prepared for that moment. But somehow, every Adam Sandler story feels believable because it feels exactly like something that would happen around him. Which brings us to perhaps the strangest story of all. At some point in his life, Adam became deeply obsessed with seeing Shaquille O'Neal naked. Not his basketball talent. Not his championship rings. Not his fame. Just the thing. According to Adam, the whole situation started after they played basketball together before returning to a movie set. Shaq mentioned he needed to shower before filming again, and for some reason that information activated something inside Adam's brain. Suddenly, he needed to know. So Adam began awkwardly creeping backward toward the locker room while pretending everything was casual. The image alone sounds ridiculous. One of Hollywood's biggest comedians moonwalking toward a shower entrance like a cartoon burglar trying not to get caught. Then Adam noticed a gigantic man standing nearby with a neck the size of a tree trunk. He immediately assumed it was Shaq's bodyguard. Panic kicked in. Later, feeling guilty about the situation, Adam apologized to Shaq for the awkward encounter involving his security guard. Shaq looked confused. "My security guard." Adam nodded nervously. "The huge guy standing there." Shaq paused, then delivered the punchline that nearly killed audiences the first time Adam told the story. "I don't have a security guard." Adam froze. Then Shaq added, "That was my dick." The room exploded. And honestly, only Adam Sandler could tell a story like that with the innocent energy of a child confessing to stealing cookies. That's what makes him so entertaining. Despite becoming one of the richest comedians alive, Adam still behaves like the same chaotic guy from Brooklyn who accidentally wandered into fame without ever changing. His movies have earned billions worldwide. His Netflix deals are worth hundreds of millions. He's one of the most commercially successful comedians in entertainment history. And yet, despite all the fame and money, he still gives off the exact same exhausted dad energy. Adam once described taking his kids near a lake when the entire family outing suddenly transformed into complete panic. "Is there a shark in here?" one of the kids asked nervously. "It's a lake," Adam replied patiently. "You'll be fine." But the fear kept escalating. What if there's poison ivy in the water? Adam stared into space, trying to process the logic. That's not how poison ivy works. But by then, logic no longer mattered. Every ripple in the water became suspicious. Every plant looked dangerous. The peaceful lake transformed into a survival movie entirely inside the minds of terrified children. And honestly, that contrast defines Adam Sandler perfectly. Outside the house, he's a Hollywood legend worth hundreds of millions. Inside those family moments, he's just a confused dad trying to explain why poison ivy doesn't swim. And somehow, against all logic, the fashion industry eventually decided this man was a style icon. In 2022, Adam Sandler was officially named Fashion Icon of the Year. Which still sounds fake. Because Adam dresses less like a celebrity and more like someone interrupted halfway through doing laundry. Oversized hoodies, baggy shorts, ancient sneakers, t-shirts that look emotionally exhausted. And somehow the internet became obsessed with it. Fashion magazines began analyzing his effortless anti-fashion aesthetic. Young people started intentionally copying the exact oversized outfits Adam had been wearing for decades without caring what anyone thought. Without even trying, Adam accidentally became cool. And the funniest part, even after being named a fashion icon, absolutely nothing changed. No makeover. No luxury transformation. Nothing. Because comfort has always mattered more to Adam than style. And somehow that became his style. Jennifer Aniston certainly wasn't convinced. After working together, she personally bought Adam an entire wardrobe hoping she could finally help him dress like a normal Hollywood actor. Matching shirts, jackets, pants, carefully coordinated outfits designed specifically for Adam Sandler's survival. Adam's review. They were itchy. Jennifer was horrified. She explained that she had basically built him a grown man's version of Garanimals to make getting dressed easier. Adam still refused. The nipples pop through this material, he argued proudly while defending one of his oversized outfits. At this point, fashion has simply surrendered to Adam Sandler. Even legendary actors aren't safe from the accidental chaos surrounding him. Adam once spent an evening with Daniel Day-Lewis and Dustin Hoffman, two of the greatest actors ever to live. Most people would sit quietly in that situation. Adam treated it like a barbecue. He spent the entire evening laughing and bonding with Daniel Day-Lewis, while Dustin Hoffman sat nearby silently, saying absolutely nothing. Eventually, Daniel left. Adam turned to Dustin in confusion. "What was that about?" he asked. Dustin looked puzzled. "What do you mean? You didn't say a word to him." Then Dustin delivered one of the funniest responses imaginable. That was him. Somehow, Dustin Hoffman had spent the entire evening not realizing he was talking to Daniel Day-Lewis. Moments like these sound scripted. They aren't. That's just Adam Sandler's universe. Even red carpets become disasters around him. Jennifer Aniston once had one simple request before an event. "Please don't wear a sweatshirt." Adam showed up wearing exactly that. Jennifer looked horrified. "What are you doing?" Adam defended himself immediately. "You told me to wear the sweatshirt." "I said don't wear the sweatshirt." Adam had apparently ignored the single, most important word in the sentence. "A miscommunication," he explained calmly. And somehow that perfectly summarizes Adam Sandler's entire existence. But underneath all the chaos is one of the greatest comeback stories in comedy history. Back in 1995, Saturday Night Live fired Adam Sandler. At the time, it devastated him. He was fired alongside his close friend Chris Farley in one of the most shocking decisions comedy television had ever made. The rejection hurt deeply. But instead of collapsing, Adam used it as fuel. Movie after movie, he quietly built one of the biggest careers in Hollywood history. Then years later, after becoming a box office phenomenon worth billions, Adam returned to host SNL. This time as a superstar. Standing on stage, he smiled and proudly admitted, "Yeah, I was fired. The audience reacted immediately. Then I made over $4 billion at the box office. The crowd erupted. Then Adam delivered the knockout punch. So I guess you could say I won. Funny, petty, honest, and weirdly inspiring all at once. Because Adam Sandler's career became proof that rejection doesn't always mean failure. Sometimes it just redirects you toward something bigger. And through all the success, one friendship remained constant, his bond with Drew Barrymore. During an appearance on The Tonight Show, starring Jimmy Fallon, Drew suddenly received a phone call from someone claiming to be Adam Sandler. Excited, she answered immediately. But seconds later, the real Adam Sandler walked onto the stage at the exact same time. Drew completely lost it. "How are you on the phone and here at the same time?" she shouted while laughing uncontrollably. Adam's response: "You hung up on me, that hurt my feelings." Pure chaos. Pure Sandler. And somehow his friendship with Kevin James might be even more ridiculous. During a late-night interview, Kevin received a surprise call from someone claiming to be his old math teacher. The woman started telling embarrassing childhood stories, and Kevin believed every second of it. Until suddenly, the voice changed. It was Adam. Kevin realized he'd been pranked on national television and immediately sprinted toward the exit while the audience collapsed laughing behind him. That's Adam Sandler's effect on people. Nobody is ever fully safe around him. Even award speeches become comedy sketches. When Adam accepted an honor at the Independent Spirit Awards, he started with humble gratitude before suddenly turning the entire speech into comedy warfare. He joked that critics only pretend to like him every 10 years or so before returning to hating him again. Then he looked toward the other nominees and proudly announced, "You will now forever be known as the guys who lost to Adam Sandler." The room exploded. It was arrogant, petty, completely unnecessary, and somehow impossible not to love. Because beneath the billion-dollar success, awards, and legendary career, Adam Sandler still feels completely human. Messy, loud, random, unfiltered. The kind of celebrity who would rather wear basketball shorts to the Oscars than spend hours pretending to be someone he's not. And maybe that's exactly why audiences have loved him for so long. Because in an industry built around perfection, Adam Sandler never tried to look perfect. He just stayed himself. And somehow that ended up meaning more than perfection ever could. So what do you think? Was Adam Sandler secretly a fashion genius this entire time, or is he just the most chaotic man in Hollywood history? Comment your favorite Adam Sandler moment below, and if you enjoyed this video, subscribe for more unbelievable celebrity stories that sound fake but are completely real.